welcome back to my Mythical Meta. My name is Travis, and I'm joined by my brother Benjamin.
Hello.
And my good friend Derek. We are continuing today another episode in our Essential Concepts series. Check the playlist. We have already done Voltron and Reanimator, and today we are kicking off Spellslinger. And then I started blasting. Listeners, comment with other magic archetypes that you think belong in this series. Which archetypes do you think we need to cover? If you've got something where you're like, man, I can't figure out how to get this to work. You know, we have got a good 30 years of expertise among us about playing Magic and making great decks. So hit us up. Today, we are beginning My Mythical Meta's Road to 1K Subdrive. Listeners, if you are not subscribed, please hit subscribe and hit that bell icon. If you like what we're doing, then please let's see the numbers to reflect that. Our goal is 1,000 by the end of this year, and we have been teetering at 300. Some days it's 301, some days it's 299, 297. Our YouTube analytics claim that we have 5,000 return viewers in the last month. That people are watching our stuff and then coming back and watching more stuff. So if you are a returning viewer, if you like what we've got and you plan to come back, please click subscribe, share with your friends. We've got 2 series in progress right now. We're doing Essential Concepts, which focus on those magic archetypes, and we have the Magic Players Try Worse Games series. We've already done our Lorcana episode, and we are getting together this Friday to do another game in the series. So please, if you want to see what we cover next, click subscribe. That is your best way to stay in the know. So we are on the road to 1K. Thank you guys so much. This episode goes out to Becky.
Right.
Becky, thank you so much for your continued patronage and for your support. Listeners, if you are interested in more information about our Patreon and its perks, please visit patreon.com/mymythicalmeta. You can also contact us directly with questions, comments, news from the Warfront ideas. If you don't know what News from the Warfront is, I'll put that playlist right up here in the corner where we look at social situations and give people advice. And if you're new and unfamiliar with News from the Warfront, we have saved 3 marriages in our News from the Warfront series. So
we need to get back to that. We really
I
do.
know. We need to get back. So let us know if you've got a social situation or if you just see one online, send it to us and let us help out. You can contact us directly with questions, comments, and news from the Warfront ideas at mymythicalmeta@gmail.com. All right, today we are tackling an archetype called Spellslinger. It's like that feeling of being a magician, being in control, and casting the spells yourself.
Right. Well, when you watch Harry Potter and you see them battle, they are spellslinging.
When you watch Doctor Strange, you know, doing all those magic spells. That is what this archetype is all about. Now, this archetype does exist in normal 1v1 Magic. Many concepts that we described today are going to apply to both 1v1 and multiplayer, but as usual on the channel, we talk mostly about EDH. And especially when we talk about cards, we're going to be talking about cards throughout the history of Magic, not just specifically in Modern or Standard. Benjamin, can you tell us a little bit about what a Spellslinger deck is supposed to do? What's its goal? What is it built around? What are we doing here?
Yeah, so a Spellslinger deck is generally built around casting a high volume of non-creature spells, usually instants and sorceries, and they seek to win either by storming off with cards like Grape Shot or Aetherflux Reservoir or Thousand Year Storm, or topping out with a high impact spell like Expropriate or Crackle with Power, some of the bigger cards that cost a lot of mana, or slowly accruing incremental value with cards like Young Pyromancer, Talran Sky Summoner, or Archmage Emeritus. And the goal isn't to play a lot of creature cards. You're playing instants and sorceries and and winning through that method. Oftentimes, they will seek to control the board. They rely on spell synergies to either control the game, generate board presence, or combo.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Here's a brief reminder for newer players. We have done our Voltron episode already, and a lot of newer players build creature-based decks. When you are building a Spellslinger deck, the ratios of card types in your deck really need to shift, and you actually need to run fewer creatures and fewer permanents if you are trying to make a successful Spellslinger deck. You're going to be tempted when you see cards that say, when you cast an instant or sorcery, do blank. And you're going to be tempted really, really strongly to just fill your deck with those creatures or permanents. But you really need to pick those very specifically, pick those very carefully. Those value generating permanents that you add to your deck, choose those very sparingly and discerningly, because you're going to need to fill the rest of your deck with the spells to cast. There are several ways to implement a Spellslinger strategy. Derek, start us off.
Well, my favorite way to do anything in Magic is to cheat mana cost. I don't like paying full value.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good deal. You want to use a lot of high-end, high-cost spells, cheating them out for cheaper. Commanders or just cards like Mizzix of the Is Magnus. She lets you cast some fat spells
Yes.
pretty quickly. Jeskai Ascendancy, Bergi, the God of Storytelling. You want to cast as many spells as you can quickly. And the best way to do that is if they're free or at a reduced price, so you can just keep cramming them in one turn for maximum amount of volume.
Mm-hmm. That's right. The same core tenet of Reanimator is true here as well. It's mana advantage. If you can get big fat spells and pay less than what's on the card and do that multiple times, then you'll get ahead of your opponents in advantage.
Yeah.
My favorite way to do Spellslinger is burn. You focus on cards that deal damage and then permanents that multiply or spread that damage to more sources. This is a perfect opportunity for me to plug my Dragon's Approach commander deck. That definitely is a Spellslinger deck at its core, with red, blue, and black, where 30 of the cards are all just a damage-dealing sorcery. And so I didn't have to think very hard when it came to what other spells I was going to include. It was all Dragon's Approaches, and then I could choose the few permanents that were going to help me to enable that.
Yeah, there's lots of good cards that help deal damage when you cast your instant or sorcery, or cards that multiply the damage when you do. So like Niv Mizzet Perun. Anytime someone casts an instant or sorcery, you draw a card, and when you draw a card, you ping somebody. It's very powerful for just keeping that engine going and dealing damage to whatever you want. Gutter Snipe is similar. When you cast an instant or sorcery, ping an opponent. Or there's ones that multiply it and deal double or even triple that damage. So a lot of the red-based burn decks are really built on just hitting people in the face and making that damage go the distance.
It's like aggro. It's like your goblins, where it's just a race to the finish.
It's very efficient. Tap a mountain, drop a card, pass the turn.
I would say, I think the hardest way to implement Spellslinger, I want to hear y'all's opinion on this too, but a control strategy where you want to control and manage what's on the board until you can combo or big spell or top out. But to manage the course of the game until then by using counterspells and removal. I find that that's a tough, it's difficult, no getting around it. But I do find it really fun and especially challenging. You're going to grow a lot as a player if you push yourself to play a control Spellslinger strategy.
Yeah, it's especially hard in Commander because so many of the counter spells and removal are 1-for-1, right? If you hit somebody with a Doomblade, you've traded one card for one card. Well, you have two other opponents that weren't affected, which means you and the opponent you targeted are down a card. You're really focused on, if I'm going to use this counter spell, I'm going to use it at just the right time. You don't blow it on the first thing that looks like it might be a threat. You use it for politics to get the people attacking each other.
I've seen, and I've probably been this person at a table when I was younger and not as good a player, but having the counter spells in hand and having the mana on your board, and the person sitting on your left is just boned the entire game.
Yeah. That's
Because you just say, sorry, you're sitting behind me. Pow! And you just pull the trigger on everything they try to cast. But it takes a lot of self-control to control the rest of the board too.
Yeah.
You gotta let some things go so that the thing that kills you gets stopped.
Yeah.
I think that's the rule of thumb that I always use when playing control. Derek, talk about this last one. I feel like when we did our Secret Santa deck last year, this is the kind of Spellslinger deck that you built.
Yeah, so this is just your weekly reminder from me that we have 100 cards, and the idea is that you need your card to do multiple things. So when you're casting your instance or sorcery spells to trigger any kind of spell casting or spell slinging triggers you have them do other things like give you tokens or do damage. Yeah, just
Untap
like
a land.
yeah,
Yep.
just things that
Yeah.
give you more, so that way you can stay in the game and keep the value running. Because that's at the end of the day, it's just getting as many triggers and as many effects as you can at that time.
Yeah, drawing cards, creating a token, dealing extra damage,
Blinking
untapping a
something.
land, or bouncing something to hand. Like, this is another type of Spellslinger deck, one that just accumulates value,
Right.
where every cast gets you more than just what the spell is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talran the Sky Summoner, I think, is the poster child for that. It's one of the earliest Spellslinger commander focused. Just you cast your spell and you're doing whatever you do with it, and also getting a 2/2 Drake that
Yeah.
flies, right?
Third pass Iconoclast.
Yeah, get you a token. Yep.
Yeah, it's also
I
helping.
think that's from
Aether
Brothers
Flux
War?
Reservoir gains you a life, and it's a game winner at the end of the day.
Yeah, Third Path Iconoclast came out in Brothers War, but it gets you a soldier, and then, Aether Flux Reservoir.
That's the one.
One of the favorites of our meta.
Yep. It gains you life, and it's a threat just sitting there.
Yep.
Building, growing.
Sometimes I forget that top level, that top line of text is even there.
Gives you
That it does
life.
gain you life as
Yeah.
you play, but it does. Life gain, we think, is underappreciated in general EDH, because life gain is the same as having a blocker for something, like, and especially in Spellslinger, where depending on what style of Spellslinger you're going for, you might not have as much of a board presence, unless you're doing one of these token generating Spellslingers. So that does kind of get us to our pros and our cons. Let's talk first about the strengths. Why would someone pick a Spellslinger strategy? What does this strategy have to offer? Benjamin, start us off.
Yeah, I think one of the best things about Spellslinger is that it's almost synonymous with card draw, card selection, deck velocity. You're usually going through a ton of cards. If you built your deck right, you're scrying and drawing and surveilling and just plowing through your deck. You're going to get to see the deck you built.
Yes.
There are so many decks that, let's say a game lasted 10 turns, that you may have seen 20 to 25 cards, which means a big chunk of your deck never saw. With a Spellslinger deck, you're easily, over the course of 10 turns, seeing probably 50 cards.
Yeah.
And,
man.
and
that
that's just-
Arjun that Arjun the Shifting Flame deck, or just as a commander himself, Arjun's ability, I'll go ahead and pull it up for our listeners. Arjun's ability is that whenever you cast a spell, you put the cards in your hand on the bottom of your library, and then you draw a new hand. So every single turn, sometimes 2 or 3 times a turn, you're seeing more and more cards.
Yeah.
And it just feels so good to see the deck you built, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
To see the cards that you put in, and to just have a higher chance, a higher hope of seeing those winning cards.
Yeah.
All decks need card draw. All decks need card velocity, because every deck has got the winning card in it.
Mhm.
The card that's going to help you close out the game. And Spellslinger decks just help you get to it.
Yeah, and almost every Spellslinger deck is base blue or base red, usually both, and that just gives you access to strong cantrips, strong card draws, things like Ponder, Faithless Looting. Just dig through the deck. Yeah, the card draw, card selection, and deck velocity are just the way to go for a good Spellslinger deck.
Derek, was there anything you wanted to add? I think I saw you go.
For some reason, I have tears in my eyes. I don't know why. I'm just overwhelmed.
It's so
with
beautiful.
How
Derek's
beautiful
overwhelmed
the pros
emotionally
of card draw are.
at the prospect of card draw. Well, Derek, do this next one.
Yeah, a Spellslinger archetype is a lot of blue, and we've talked about like color strengths and weaknesses and all that stuff. And one of the things we said about blue was that it was a very defensive, reactive color. So naturally, Spellslinger kind of comes with a lot of that strength, and a lot of our targeted removal and our protection that we run for our decks to keep us alive are counter spells and instances like that. Things that let you react, spend mana, get yourself out of a pinch at any time in the game. So it's a very flexible, unpredictable type of strategy that, your opponent is kind of like, I don't really know how to keep up with this. I just have to try to keep the pressure on. But, they could have any kind of removal in their hand. They could have any kind of bounce, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels so good to just draw your card and then say, go. I'll react when it suits me. I'll play my cards when I have more information than you do.
Right. 6 mana open, 7 cards in hand. Go ahead.
Yeah. The fear someone has, seeing someone with a full hand of cards and full mana on their turn, people act differently.
And the crazy thing, I'll go ahead and jump into this next one, is when you see that on the other side of the table, it creates a lot of fear, but at the same time, you're like, I still have to play. Like, I still have to forward my board, because if I don't play something, it's the same as that person getting their counterspell for free without spending a card or the mana. Like, I still have to just go for it. I have to play. And it's kind of like watching a movie and seeing the main party be like, this is probably a trap. Well, what do we do about it? Well, we don't have a choice. We have to go in anyway.
Yeah.
When you are that player, you get to use your open mana as an opportunity to bluff and create that power play or build those alliances. And, you have the power after everyone plays a turn to say, it resolves. You have my permission.
Yeah. You don't even have to
you
say
have my
anything,
permission to,
though. Like I said, the open hand, full hand, open mana. People are going to play differently. They're going to be scared. They're going to come to you with deals saying, "Hey, let me play the spell. Please don't counter it. I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I won't attack you. I won't. I'll do this A or B or whatever."
and you don't even have to have the counterspell in hand.
Yeah. Just the threat of you having it.
But the image, this Jedi mind trick of them thinking you have control over whether they can play, it's madness.
Yeah. Which makes this a very powerful archetype, no matter which version you're doing, right? Because when you have the ability to bluff, like, you are the wizard, you are the powerful planeswalker, you're the person wielding the elements and the mysteries of the universe, and you're playing the mind games in real life. And also, when it comes time for you to win, you're like slinging fireballs at everybody else. So and they know that the other people know that it's not just counter spells. Once they've resolved something, it could be a lightning bolt, it could be an unsummon, it could be whatever it is that and etherize are the big ones that they're like, can I attack you? Well, I don't know. Do you like your board state?
Man.
And so
that got played this past weekend.
Yeah. Just return it.
Just knocked somebody's block off, just completely undid everything they planned on.
Yeah. So those are the pros. There are some weaknesses to playing a Spellslinger deck, and I think we already talked about one of them, but the fact is, if your hand is full of instants and sorceries, that means it's not full of creatures, propagandas, and things that keep people from attacking you. You often look open. So you can sometimes struggle to maintain a board presence, and you're going to have very few blockers. And even if you have blockers, maybe because you're playing a token version, tokens tend to be small. And so they're not afraid to attack into you. It just means you have chump blockers.
I mean, we've given Talrand some props here. He creates a 2/2 flying blocker, but it's still a 2/2. He's somebody's Voltron with trample, and what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Die.
Yeah. Guess I'll die.
You're going to die is what you're going to do.
Yeah. The lower power level you are in Commander, all your friends are playing creatures and all that stuff. And so playing Spellslinger at lower levels is going to feel bad because you're just going to get constantly hammered. You're going to have a hard time getting off the ground. But as that power level goes up, you start seeing less and less creatures. And eventually, suddenly, you blink and you've gotten into CEDH. And maybe you don't want to go
all
that
the
high.
decks are Spellslingers.
Yeah. That's true. Notice
all, but a good number.
But I noticed in preparing for this week's episode and next week's episode, looking at the cards that are good for Spellslinger, so many of them are game changers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like you're saying, if you're not putting those cards in your deck because you're trying to stay lower power level, your deck is significantly weaker. And your opponents, just like you said, if they're just playing their big Timmy green decks, a lot of them can't be countered. A lot of them have hexproof. It just feels
The
like,
trample.
yeah. So the lack of blockers and then, like you said, turning into CEDH, like if that's not where you want to be, if you don't want to be in the more competitive cutthroat area, then this may not be a deck for you, because it does tend to play more powerful cards precisely because it's good at that level.
Yeah. And that does kind of lead me into what I think is an important, it's weird to call it a weakness or a con, but the difficulty of playing a Spellslinger deck is higher. Like, you need to know more about Magic the Gathering. You need to know more about timing, about priority, about the stack. You need to have a deeper game knowledge in order to play Spellslinger at an adequate level. And you need great decision making. You need to know when is the time to counter. When is the time for you to build your own board state? Part of this might be knowing your meta. What cards are in your playgroup's decks? I need to know, I need to have that knowledge of what my meta is serving up so that I can hold my counterspell for when it matters. And if you are playing at a shop with randoms and maybe you've had your discussion over power level or the game changers in somebody's decks, if somebody says, hey, my deck is a 4, it has these 6 game changer cards in it, well, wait to see them.
Yeah.
Because they've told you what to counter.
Right.
And I say this, I come to this point knowing that this is a level I still need to improve at. I have a couple of Spellslinger decks that we're going to talk about a little bit later. One of them is the value building token deck that wants to top off, but I do have a control Spellslinger deck that is tough to pilot. I feel stressed after every game. Because throughout the entire game, I'm doing exactly that. I'm holding up removal for everybody's thing, wondering, is this the card I need to counter? Is this the card that's going to win them the game and kill me? Or do I let it pass? It's tough.
Yeah. I think everyone should eventually get there and play Spellslinger deck and master at least one, because it does teach you some of the more arcane rules of Magic. It does teach you the decision making in the stack, so that even if that's not your style, you know what the other people are going through, and you can find interesting interactions in other deck styles. But yeah, it's hard. It makes you feel dumb when you don't do it right.
And like with all skills, doing it is the only way you'll get better at it. I mean, we've been playing together for a decade. I feel like one of us near the end of every game is like, man, I messed up. Man, I should have countered that instead of this. Or certainly remember games where it's like, I had this counterspell in hand and I decided to build my board state with a permanent instead. And if I had saved it, then I could have countered it, But going through that decision making and getting that practice in is the only way you'll get better.
Yeah. And another problem with Spellslinger sometimes is that sometimes the luck isn't on your side, no matter how good your decision making is.
You can make all the right moves and still lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travis earlier was saying that you need to have very few of the permanents that trigger things, because you need to make sure you have enough instants and sorceries to trigger everything. Well, sometimes you only draw your enchantments that say, your instants and sorceries cost 1 less, and you put 4 of those on the battlefield and you never draw a big spell to take advantage of it. You have the chance of bricking in a Spellslinger deck. Now, obviously, having enough cheap card draw can help. And in fact, let me discuss my John Arenicus deck here. It is not a Spellslinger deck.
Ooh, yeah.
But part of how I built that deck was that 20 cards replace themselves when they come into play, so that you're just turning. It really reduces the likelihood that you're gonna brick, right? That's one way you can mitigate that. But it is possible that you just draw 30 cards and the cards you needed to win are on the bottom 70. The thing is, if you have a creature deck, that's typically not going to happen. You're going to have creatures that can attack, regardless of which half of the deck you drew. But if you're relying on instants and sorceries and you only draw card draw spells and you drawing until someone runs you over and you die, that can happen.
Derek, do this last one.
Boy, this is what really kills the night sometimes. This is when moods start to sour, salt starts to build. It's these do nothing turns. Part like just tagging on to what you guys just said. You got the wrong side of your deck, or maybe you've got the card draw side and you just keep drawing cards but you're not getting it, and you just go in these loops and it just goes on and on and on for no, like, we've all been guilty of this. Is we do like a 30-minute turn where nothing at the end, like maybe we did like 40 loops of something and like
Yeah.
one thing changes at the end of it, like maybe we gained one life at the end. It's like, I remember, I think Benjamin was playing his Lord
Ragavan.
Windgrace deck.
Lord Windgrace.
Lord
And
Winger.
I remember, like, with just the way it works, that you would sack lands, do this, draw a card, do the, it's like a whole thing. It's like 30 minutes long. And I'm like, so what changed? And he's like,
Tokens.
Get some tokens, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, God, that's what turns these games into, slogfest sometimes. And then also, conversely, maybe you don't get to do anything. Maybe there's, you're holding up a counterspell and no one's
threatening endgame.
Yeah, everyone's kind of suffering, and you're just sitting there like, because your deck performs best when it's interacting with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that creates these feel bads between either you or your opponents. Your opponents feel bad when you've got the control on your side. When you win, your opponents feel bad because they've been countered. When your opponents win, you feel bad because your deck didn't perform. Maybe that's just a con in playing Magic the Gathering, but it does feel like it's turned up when you're doing Spellslinger to me, because I don't even have permanents on the board to show that I'm playing.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, if I head to head, my creature kills your creature, my creature's still alive. For some reason, it doesn't feel the same as if I just countered your creature from you even playing it. I don't. Maybe there's some kind of psychology of, like, maybe the creature hitting the battlefield and it having a chance at life is something. But I feel like it
something
puts a
that can be honored and respected.
Back.
Yeah, there is something. I mean, there's been all sorts of studies and all sorts of people. I mean, people just don't like having their stuff countered. They don't like having it killed before it could attack. People don't like control. I personally, to me, playing against a control deck is like a puzzle to be solved, right? How can I force them to skip their turn while I wait till I can play three things that they can't counter them all? Or do I bait them into countering it with my second best thing? Like, it is the mind games, but a lot of people don't play Magic for the mind games. And
yeah, I'm here a little bit for the mind games, but like deep stacks, I'd rather just play the next game.
Yeah.
Like, let's just sit here, can't do anything. I just see you goofing off for 30 minutes, not doing anything, unable to kill anyone or do anything. Oh, it's my turn. I get to discard a card. I get to, sacrifice a creature. I can't do anything. So,
Benjamin, you said you like the puzzle of saying, how can I bait out the counter, or how can I charge through the counters or negates that they've got? A game you might like is Yu-Gi-Oh.
I've played the Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is. If you go first, it's setting up as many counters as you can. If you go second, it's saying, how many things can I bait? How many things can I get my opponent to trigger, and still go off and still charge through? Something to think about. What was it, that religious lady who did that presentation on Monster Energy?
Yeah, oh man, I need to watch that again. I can't remember what she says.
Something to think about.
What's that look like? Something to think about.
What's that look like? Sign of the Beast. So let's get to some strategy tips for Spellslinger. Benjamin, start us off, man.
Man, you always have to have a plan B, a plan C, because sometimes your stuff doesn't stick. So I'm actually going to do two here. A big chunk of your decks are going to be devoted to protecting yourself. Sometimes you're going to lose your 1,000-Year Storm, your Baral, your Mizzix, whatever it is, and that can cripple your turn. So you're going to want to stick cards in your deck that can protect your enablers. You're not running very many of them because you need a threshold of instants and sorceries to make your deck work. So the ones you do have, a lot of your counter spells and other instants are going to be based on protecting your 1,000-Year Storm. That's your in game, right? Or or your thing that makes, like Baral is both helping you dig through your deck and making your spells cheaper. You need to protect your Baral, but he's a weak little 1/3. So add a Lightning Greaves to your deck.
Yep.
It's not an instant or sorcery, but it's good to have in your deck. So that's the first thing, is just saying, look, when you get one of these enablers down, it becomes a priority to keep them in play. Second thing is, sometimes it won't work. Sometimes your Brawl won't stick, your Thousand Year Storm won't stick. You do need to have multiple win conditions in your deck. The days of draw go, you play one Sarah Angel in your deck and nothing but counter spells and draw spells otherwise, it just doesn't work when you're playing against 4 other players. You just can't be efficient enough. So in addition to your Aetherflux Reservoir, you should also include an Electro Dominance, an Empty the Warren, a Shark Typhoon, things that can help you close the game. Because like we were just saying, it's possible to take these long terms and have nothing at the end of them. And you need to have things so that that's not happening. And so together, protect your enablers and have multiple enablers. So those are important tips for Spellslinger.
Absolutely.
Multiple enablers and win cons. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to take this part about being mana efficient. If your value comes from casting instants and sorceries, then it's more about volume. You need more instants and sorceries. So find spells that cost 1 or 2 mana. In general, most Spellslinger decks are based in blue, so find lots of spells that draw you a card, scry you a card. So cards like Opt, Preordain, Brainstorm, just all of these 1 mana. And I wanted to show this. I'm in Scryfall. I'm going to go to Advanced Search here in the top. Here in text, I'm going to put Draw, and then in mana cost, in mana value, I'm just going to put mana value equal to 1. And let's see what options I have.
All sorts of good stuff. 1 mana draw card.
Abundant Growth replaces itself and fixes a land color. Ether Spell Bomb is an artifact, a non-creature spell, where I can return a creature to its owner's hand or draw a card. So just by scrolling through this, you will find a lot of cards that enable you to keep going through your deck. Like we mentioned, Talran keeps coming up. If Talran says you get a 2/2 flying Drake for each spell you cast, well, if I cast 5 spells in a turn that all say draw a card, well, my hand is the same, but now I've got 10 power on the board. 10 power for 5 mana plus 5 new cards? That's a hell of a deal. So it's more about the volume of spells than necessarily, the quality of spell.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just cast more of them.
And you can only do that by being mana efficient, using all your mana when you can, and having cheap spells that replace themselves. Yep. Yeah. One of my favorite cards for Spellslinger are actually the ones that give you mana back. Dang, what is the one? Add mana draw. There's a couple like it, but the big one that I like is the red-green one. Why can I not remember it?
Manamorphose?
Manamorphose. There you go. Add 2 mana in any combination. It costs 2. It's instant speed. You add 2 mana back in any color, and you draw a card. It's a free spell that just digs through your deck. It's a great one to copy.
Copy it and get it 2 extra mana.
Yeah. It's I would put it in
and
any
2 cards.
Spellslinger deck that can support it, because it adds to your spell count. It's a free card.
Yeah.
I love free cards.
Me too.
Another thing is, and it goes along with this, cheap spells, number of spells. And in Magic, you'll often hear this called the storm count. There is a mechanic in Magic, an ability on certain cards called Storm, where the card copies itself based on the number of spells you've cast before it. So the term storm count just means count how many spells you've cast. And that's what I'm talking about with these cheap spells like Opt and Preordain. There are cards like Stormkiln Artist. Actually, y'all should just, if you're playing a Spellslinger, give the Strixhaven set a really deep once-over.
Yeah.
Just in general.
All the Magecraft cards.
This set was all about spellslinging, and the cards have an ability called Magecraft. With Stormkiln Artist, you create a treasure token each time you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell. Stormkiln Artist doesn't care if you're casting 9 mana Expropriate or 1 mana Opt. Okay. If you cast 9 mana Expropriate, you're still going to get only 1 treasure from it. It's all about volume. You want to be casting as many spells as you can, so make them cheap so that you have the mana to support that. Eric, which one do you want to hit?
It's me again, here to tell you that you've got 100 cards in your deck and they need to do multiple things.
Yes.
Spellslinger is great for this because there are cards like the charms in several different colors. I think every color combination, and then some. There are commands. These are like broad, like Koldagon's command, Soul Tie Charm. Like these, like they're all part of cycles everywhere. If the first mode doesn't have what you want, maybe the second or third or maybe even fourth mode does, and it lets you stay flexible, stay loose, be responsive and reactive to things you need, or it can help you out of tight pickles or whatever. That's the beauty of it. It's like several options. I love it.
There's 2-color, 3-color charms, and then the other one was the commands, which often let you choose 2.
Yeah.
The cards that say command say you can choose 2 of the options. Wow, what incredible versatility.
I mean, Cryptic Command and those, I think they'll go like 3 or 4.
Cryptic Command is an insane card where you can pay 1 blue and choose 2 of these. Counter target spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand, tap all creatures your opponents control. Hey, you've got that board full of drakes we were talking about? End the game.
Yeah.
With Cryptic Command, and then draw a card. Remove propaganda, remove whatever defense they have up, and then tap all their creatures and go in with your drakes. So this versatility is incredible. The last one on Cryptic Command is draw a card, because you're in blue. Yeah. What are the cards that say you can choose the same mode more than once?
Confluence.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which are also great for...
Yeah, the confluences are really good too. Now, they nearly always have a much higher mana cost, but...
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. And I do want to, we've been talking about volume a lot, but it does depend on the style of Spellslinger a little bit. If you're playing
That's
a
true.
more controlling version, you don't want all your spells trading 1 for 1. Now, obviously, you still want the cantrips and stuff that help you make sure you see more of your deck. But if you're playing a control one and all you're doing is counter that spell, bounce that to your hand, path that, you're going to run out of gas long before the game's over, and you're going to be top decking, and it's going to feel awful. I like to make sure that my cards are replacing themselves or doing 2 for 1 or better as much as possible. So Cryptic Command and Mystic Confluence, which is there on the screen, are great for that because they let you counter and draw a card. And I'm willing to put those in decks, even though they cost 4 or 5 mana to counter a spell, which is usually way too much. But the fact that you can draw a card or 2 lets you keep your hand up while you're dealing with threats or things that can kill 2 things. So, for example, if I'm choosing between Forked Bolt and Lightning Bolt in a commander deck, I might choose Forked Bolt because it can kill 2 mana dorks or two things rather than just 1 thing. It does 1 less damage, but I can divide it, and so that makes a difference. So, yes, in general, there is a tension between mana efficiency, card efficiency, and versatility that you have to balance in a Spellslinger deck. But it's important to look for all those things and put them in your deck in some ratio.
I do want to give just one more because I feel like I've danced around it, but don't know if I've really made it official. Here's my rule of thumb for counterspelling. And I want to hear y'all's thoughts about counterspelling also. But my rule of thumb, what probably helped me improve as a player the most and win more games, was only counter a spell if I am about to lose as a result of that spell. Only counter the spell if it's going to kill me. And here are the reasons for that. If a card lands, and especially if I still have multiple opponents, it might kill my opponents first.
Mm-hmm.
And give me more of a chance, I might have a couple more cards to get through in order to find some removal that I need. Because that threat that somebody else played, it might kill my opponent before it kills me. That's one thing. But the second is Benjamin, you just said it. If I counter everything, I run out of gas and I'm empty-handed. And I can't counter anything else. So I do have to make that choice. And for me, that rule of thumb of just saying, is that thing going to kill me right now? No? Then I'll let it through. I will admit, I think that's, on a scale of 1 to 5, I think that's like level 2 of understanding when to counterspell.
It's better than level 1 though, which is counter everything at every opportunity, and that's
Right.
Yeah.
you're not gonna get the value out of your counter spells. I think I will counter high value spells that are gonna give them more resources than me, because in a control deck, I want to have more resources.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to, if I'm holding a counter spell, I want to counter something that costs 4 or more.
Which is mana advantage. A
Exactly.
counterspell costing 2 and your opponent having wasted 4 feels good.
Yeah. I will counter something if it's going to be like, I don't care if it'll kill someone else first, unless I know it'll kill someone else first, because I want to see if someone else will blow a removal spell on it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you can almost make somebody, you're like, oh, you were wanting to play your commander? It's getting countered unless you also path that thing. Right. So obviously cards in hand are
Brutal.
the tools you use to win the game.
Benjamin, your politics are brutal. This guy read too much Ayn Rand in high school.
It was the Machiavelli in college that did it.
That's right, the Machiavelli. That's right.
Anyway, that's how I would use counter spells. Is kind of, I agree with you in the sense that you don't use them early. Not in a game of Commander. Somebody's going to board wipe at some point, right? I don't need to counter your 2, 3, or even 4 mana spells. I don't need to counter the first time you cast a commander. I need to wait till mid to late game when someone has used a board wipe. Maybe me, right? Maybe I used a Supreme Verdict or something.
Yeah.
And now that's when you start counterspelling, when you can get value, mana advantage or whatever, and you're close to winning, because you've outlasted.
I can talk about what I do about counterspells.
Oh yeah, thank you, Derek.
Yeah, I want to hear Derek. I want to hear your opinion on counterspells too.
Yeah, for my counterspells, I agree with both of you guys. Neither one of y'all are wrong. I'm not as tied up with my counterspells as Benjamin was talking about. I'll play them in the early mid game. If I can keep a player down while they're still trying to build, I'll do it. If they play a big spell that's gonna like skyrocket, it's gonna be like the cornerstone for their deck taking off. I know you guys, I know your decks, I know what my deck is doing, so I know what the threats are and how, if they get that out, they're gonna go ahead, and I'm not gonna be able to catch back up to them in this deck. So I'm trying to fight and tear and keep myself ahead while trying to keep you guys down. And I'll use counterspells to buy goodwill and protection. Sometimes I get a little sick in the head, and I like to mess with Randy because Randy is so easy to get in his head.
Derek, that's so true. You're very political with your counterspells.
Yeah. Randy will have something on the thing that I want to kill, and I say, better not hit me. And he says, well, now I'm gonna hit you. And I got to kill it anyways. And eventually I'll do that so many times, like Pavlov's dog, that Randy will stop attacking me. But it is not yet, and it won't be anytime soon.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. 10 years of playing.
Yeah, you're totally right. The ability to, before countering something, offer a deal or offer a protection or offer to allow something, be the benevolent dictator that allows somebody to play a card and use that to buy goodwill or buy social capital around the game. I think that's really smart too.
And a lot of times people will keep you alive because they know if you're like the second or third threat, not the main threat, they know that you're the one playing answers.
Yep. You're the policeman of the board.
Yeah. You're the one who can stop Avacyn from making the board indestructible and sweeping everything. I do remember a game where that did make me the target, but I was playing my Ramos deck and you were playing Avacyn, and you're like, I know that you're playing exile cards. Mm-hmm. And so other people don't necessarily want to attack me because I'm the only one keeping their board intact if you land Avacyn. So it can make you, often Spellslinger puts a target on your head, but it can also make you a meaningful and valued member of the team.
Right.
It's us against the problem.
Right,
That's right.
Exactly.
Listeners, thanks so much for sticking with us for our essential concepts of Spellslinger. Next week, we're going to talk about some great beginner commanders for this archetype. We will talk about some decks that we've actually built in the past where we've experimented with this archetype And then we're just going to plow through great cards, the most essential cards you need if you're looking to dip your toes into the Spellslinger archetype. Please remember, we are on the road to 1K. If you
1K.
liked this episode and you plan on coming back next week for the next one, click subscribe, hit that bell so that you don't miss a thing. If you're interested in joining our Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/mymythicalmeta, and you can reach out to us directly with questions, comments. Let us know what other archetypes you want us to hit in this series. Let us know what worse card games you want us to play in our other series. You can contact us directly at mymythicalmeta@gmail.com. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. Benjamin, Derek, thank you guys for being my great friends. Adios.
Bye.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.